honorable members of Parliament, that for the first time in our history, we are mainstreaming the continuous registration of voters as part of our regular activities. As such, our officers in the field will be fully engaged all year round. Mr. Speaker, another significant feature of this draft constitutional instrument is the proposal to adopt the Ghana card as the sole source of identification for any person who wishes to register as a voter. This implies that the guarantor system, which hitherto allowed a registered voter to vouch for the citizenship and age of prospective applicants, will no longer be relied upon as part of our registration exercise. The reason is that over the years, the guarantor system has presented us with several challenges. Unfortunately, we were unable to discard it much earlier due to the absence of a national identification card, such as the one issued by the NIA. The challenges with the guarantor system are twofold. First of all, it opens the door for registered voters or guarantor contractors to guarantee and vouch for persons who are less than 18 years old. Secondly, it allows these guarantors to vouch for persons who are not citizens of Ghana. Such unqualified persons, usually minors and foreigners, use the door of the guarantor system to try to get onto our register. Mr. Speaker, it is important to note that to rid the register of minors and foreigners in the year 2020, the Electoral Commission established the District Registration Review Committees, which worked for several days and weeks in all districts to expunge the names of minors and foreigners from the register. We were able to successfully expunge close to 40,000 minors and foreigners from the register during the registration exercise. It has been argued that this number is not significant, but we know especially it will prevent unqualified persons. More especially, it will prevent unqualified persons from influencing our elections and having a say as to who should govern our country. This is an issue that borders on the sovereignty of our nation. Simply put, only eligible Ghanaians must be entitled to vote. And we call on our honorable members to support our efforts to prevent foreigners and minors from getting onto our electoral roll. Honorable members, using the Ghana card as the main source document for the continuous registration. By using the Ghana card as the main source of documentation for the continuous registration, the Electoral Commission will be conforming to the legislative instrument passed by Parliament, namely the National Identity Register Regulations 2011, Legislative Instrument 2111. Regulation 7.1 states that a national identity card issued to an individual shall be used for a number of transactions where identification is required. Indeed, one of the mandatory transactions stated in Regulation 7.1 is the registration of voters. As such, Parliament, by its own assent, legitimized the Ghana card as the sole document to prove one's citizenship. Mr. Speaker, as mentioned earlier, although the Ghana card was not the only required document to prove a person's eligibility in 2020, at the end of the exercise, over 60%, or about 10 million of registered voters, used the Ghana card as their main source of identification. This means that 2 years ago, some 10 million Ghanaians registered with the Ghana card. Today, we are reliably informed that over 16 million Ghanaians have been issued with the Ghana card, and that about 17 million Ghanaians in total have registered for the Ghana card. On the strength of these numbers, we are confident that the 1.5 million applicants we are expecting to register by the end of 2013 are likely to already possess the Ghana card. Relying on the 2021 census report, Mr. Speaker, relying on the 2021 census report and per our own estimates, we are likely to register between 450,000 and 550,000 Ghanaians every year. We believe that the 17 million people that the NIA has registered, we believe that of the 17 million persons that the NIA has registered, it is likely that the 450, we believe, Mr. Speaker, that of the 17 million persons that the NIA has registered, it is highly probable that the 450 to 550 persons we intend to register annually already have the card as we speak. Mr. Speaker, with the NIA assurance that it will commence its card issuance in a matter of weeks, we encourage those who do not have the card to begin the process of acquiring the card to enable them register as voters. The NIA has its registration centers across the districts and the regional capitals, and therefore accessing their facilities will not be a challenge. Additionally, since the card is acquired at the age of 15, we encourage any Ghanaian who will turn 18 in 2023 and 2024 and who is interested in voting in the country's election to visit the nearest NIA registration center and register for the Ghana card to enable him or her also register as a voter when he or she becomes eligible. It is important to note that all those who registered in 2020 are not part of this registration exercise because all their details, including their biometric features, are intact. This registration is for those who did not take part in the 2020 registration exercise and for those who have turned 18 years since the last voters registration exercise in 2020. As an institution, the Electoral Commission remains committed to reforms aimed at strengthening the integrity of its processes. We believe that the elimination of the guarantor system from our registration process will be a catalyst for a further deepening of the integrity and credibility of our register and ultimately our elections as a whole. Reforms instituted by the Commission over the years, Mr. Speaker, have aimed at strengthening and tightening our electoral process and have ensured its credibility and integrity. In 2012, for instance, we replaced our manual voters register with a biometric register. This engendered confidence and trust in our register and in our electoral process as a whole. Ahead of the 2020 election, we introduced the facial recognition function in addition to the fingerprint verification. This ensured that over 99% of voters were electronically verified. Similarly, Mr. Speaker, the adoption of transparent boxes instead of opaque boxes, the issuance of photo ID cards instead of cards, and the removal of the names of those who enrolled on our register using the National Health Insurance Card are all part of reforms that have tightened and strengthened our processes and ensured the credibility of our elections. Today, Ghana can boast of a transparent and credible elections because of, Mr. Speaker, today Ghana can boast of transparent and credible elections Mr. Speaker, today Ghana can boast of transparent and credible elections because of the incremental reforms that have been implemented. Indeed, our electoral process is at par with that of the most advanced democracies in the world. Honorable members, it is in this vein that we urge you to support the decision of the EC to rely on the Ghana card as the main source of identification for those who wish to register as voters. Our country has evolved, and it is important that our electoral processes also evolve to meet the exigencies of the times. Permit me to state again that in 1992, when we had no ID card, we adopted the guarantor system. Today, 30 years on, we cannot continue to rely on a system that is fraught with challenges. So, when we have a credible system in the form of identification card. Mr. Speaker, before I end, that this constitutional instrument and its provisions are not aimed at the eligible Ghanaians. The continuous registration process, on the contrary, will be inclusive and participatory. It will make it possible to capture all those who would otherwise have been excluded in a limited registration exercise. The continuous registration exercise, Mr. Speaker, unlike the previous limited registration exercises, will be continuous, like its name states. As such, anyone who has a Ghana card can simply walk into any of our offices and get registered. The exercise is not periodic or a limited one that could lead to disenfranchising persons who do not possess the Ghana card. It is an all-year-round activity. As such, a person who does not have the Ghana card today can acquire it tomorrow and simply walk into a district office where he or she intends to vote and register. Mr. Speaker, it is important to rehash that the use of the Ghana card as the sole means of identification will ensure and guarantee the credibility and integrity of our register and our elections. It will prevent the enrollment of minors on the register. It will prevent foreigners from being registered to vote, and it will eliminate the guarantor system, which is prone to abuse and which promotes conflict and violence. Additionally, it will prevent costly, tedious follow-up exercises by the district registration review committees established nationwide. Finally, Mr. Speaker, by using the Ghana card as the sole source of identification, the EC will be conforming to Regulation 7.1 of the legal instrument passed by Parliament, the National Identity Register Regulations, LI 2111, which states that the national identity card shall be used for a number of transactions where identification is required, including the registration of voters. Mr. Speaker, the NIA has assured us that as of today, it has received some money to enable it initiate the printing of cards and the registration of voters. We are reliably informed that the NIA has about 3.5 million blank cards in Ghana in a bonded warehouse. We are also reliably informed that monies have been released and more funds are in the process of being released. With this assurance, coupled with the fact that, like the Electoral Commission, the NIA has offices in all the districts and regions, we are confident that our continuous registration exercise will be inclusive, participatory, and robust. We are confident that anybody who qualifies to register will have the opportunity to do so if they so wish. On our part, as the institution mandated by the 1992 Republican Constitution to compile the register of voters and to revise it at such intervals as may be determined by law, everything in our power to register all qualified applicants who wish to register as voters. Our goal is to ensure that no one is left behind. As you may be already aware, or as you know, the EC has a track record in this regard. In 2020, despite concerns raised by the sections of the society that the registration exercise will not be successful, the EC registered over 17 million persons in 38 days in a COVID-19 pandemic and during a registration season. Mr. Speaker, as you know, the EC has a
Honourable members. Honourable members. Honourable members, fortunately, you are known faces. known faces. So I've taken note of all of you. Honorable Dominic Nitiwol, please, you are a minister, please.
Mr. Speaker, I am protesting. You cannot invite somebody to your house. You can't invite somebody to your house and stop protesting. It's wrong. Mr. Speaker, why? It's getting too much.
Honorable Murtala Mohammed. Honorable Murtala Mohammed. It has long been ruled in this House that the use of the word shame is unparliamentary. Honorable members, the guests we have here are here in answer to an invitation by this House. The best we can do is to listen to them. At the end of the day, you're given the opportunity to ask questions. Please, again, Abu Mohammed, I call on you to withdraw the shame.
Mr. Speaker. Withdraw. What is it?
Yes, honorable member, you may go on.
Mr. Speaker, please. Mr. Speaker, if you direct me to do anything, I'll do that. But I want clarification from you that if I didn't speak into the mic, is it? Hold on. Why are you shouting? This is not. This is a house of records. It is not a house of shouting. And we are all here, and that is why I want the speaker's direction.
Yes.
Into the mic. It doesn't become a statement that is made on record.
Yes.
So if I want your direction.
Yes.
But if it is that I'm withdrawing something that is not captured as a recorded statement I have made, then I do so because you are the speaker and you have directed me to do so. But you all know that any statement that is made not on the mic, it is not an official statement that is being made. So if you're asking me to withdraw a statement which was not made in the mic, I would want your direction. So Mr. Speaker, I am withdrawing that statement even though it was not captured as an official statement because you are the speaker and you have directed me to do so. Out of respect, and not out of people like you.
Honorable members, we are in a committee meeting. We are not at plenary. We are at a committee meeting. And this is a meeting of the committee of the whole. So it's not official records. What we do at the committee